Hello and welcome back to another week of Riled Up here with Andrew. Um,
Yo.
so we had a bit of scuff at the end of last week. We ended a little early, but hopefully everything's sorted. I've tested all week. Had about three streams, two opening streams, one wildly successful. Uh, so if you missed that one, the VOD's over on the YouTube channel. But the Rosetta opening was pretty insane. Got two more cases of Rosetta on the way, so that'll be coming up. I'll have a schedule out Saturday for all of next week. I've got a whole bunch of stuff coming in, so look forward to all sorts of stuff. Now, this is a Fab podcast, so the very first thing we have to do is wish it happy birthday. So,
Woo.
woo!
Happy birthday, Fab.
Happy
That's what's up.
birthday. Yeah, happy 5th birthday. Uh is it just a stream on Sunday, or are there any other big events coming up this weekend?
Well, I think it's just the stream this weekend, and then Osaka is coming up. But I mean, I don't think that's this weekend.
No, I think it's
Uh,
in a couple. Cause London still going on?
that was this past week, I think. There was
So
some
here's
pro quests. Yeah.
so the thing that confused me was that it kept saying London week 1, and I'm like,
Oh,
why is it?
so that just means that it is you are playing in uh in a pro quest to like qualify. So like there's gonna be weeks leading up to it to qualify for Pro Tour.
So because it's top 8, right? Top 8 qualify running up, and then you
Uh,
have
pff, I was gonna say I think so. Road to Nationals is whenever top 8 qualifies for Nationals. Pro quests you have to win.
oh, is it just winners? Okay.
I think well it I think it's winners in second. Yeah, probably winners in second, but yeah. So that should be about right. Yeah. So I don't think I don't think it's top 8. That's for Road to Nationals and callings get top 8s.
And then
Uh
Osaka's coming up. Lots of big news coming. Or a lot of big news pre-announced for Osaka that I think everyone is really waiting for. The Living Legend changes, the Blitz changes. I don't know if they'll actually announce Blitz changes as much as design intent for future Blitz, right? That kind of dives back to the Dev Notes
well,
9, right?
I'll be honest with you, I don't know what you're talking about with the Blitz changes. I think I must have missed it. Is there some sort of what are they changing with Blitz?
Oh, they were just talking about, like, one of the biggest things that James White was talking about was how they haven't been spending the time to balance Blitz as much. Like, CC's been the main focus, and Blitz has been kind of like the redheaded stepchild, and that has resulted in like very fast living legends. So fixing the living legend problem is really a two-prong attack. All right, there's change to the point system, which they'll be announcing at Osaka, and then revamping how the balancing works. Now, they're on like an 18-month ish, you know, behind the times, right? Like, things that are coming out now were designed and sent off to market 18 months ago, and I really think that they saw a lot of these problems back then. So I'm hoping in the next set maybe we're going to start seeing those Blitz changes, which is I think why they waited till Osaka. I don't think they just saw Zen and then we're like, oop, now we have to make changes. Because if they're only making the changes now based off Zen, I think it's way too soon. They should not have said a thing, because 18 months out from now is when those changes will take effect. So
Yeah, I just have a hard time like conceptualizing like what they could really do to fix it, per se, if that's something that they actually need to do. I think it's just a faster format. but we'll see because it'll be interesting either way. Um, but the back to the fifth anniversary show, that's going on this Sunday, right? I
Yeah, I think it's
cannot
like,
wait because that it also has something in it that people can get at Osaka. Ira Scarlet Revenger.
oh, is it?
That
It's not
yeah,
Universal
that's
Osaka. Okay.
yeah. It's actually going to be legal in Osaka because of it coming out. So I'm assuming some people might be building some decks, showing up, opening up their promo pack, and sleeving it. That'd be pretty cool, honestly.
Yeah, I mean it
Uh,
makes sense, right? I mean they already. I mean everything is already out, right? It's for it, so
yeah,
it's very doable. It's very doable in a game like this. So
yeah.
that's very
Then
exciting.
and at on the anniversary show this weekend, they're gonna play a classic constructed game of Ira Scarlet Revenger versus a mystery hero. Which Dan, you were telling me earlier that there was a meme basically saying, okay, all the question marks line up with Aurora Shooting Star. And that's how like a normal person thinks. You're like, oh, what's one that's already out there? I just fully dove headfirst into the deep end of the crazy pool and was like, okay, what are all the six letter hero names? Okay, so what do we got? Sherlock Holmes. If it's not Aurora, because it could just be Aurora, but that's not any fun.
I mean Dromai, right?
Yeah, so we got Dromai, Victor, Bolton, Azalea, Oldhim, Aurora, and my favorite. Now, he's not my favorite 100%, but I do really love them as this choice. If it could be a new hero, and I don't know. I just think that we need to see more Arachne. Arachne came out in Dynasty, and then we got a different kind of Arachne in Outsiders, and especially now with the new tools, if you are somebody who likes to play Blitz, Arachne Solitary Confinement with the new tools from MST is actually pretty great. Um, but that's past the point because I went even further. I was like, well, let's try to guess what this 8 letter word is, and I'm coming up with like Arachne removing life or Arachne surgical dead or some kind of crazy thing. But no, it's probably Aurora.
I would prefer all of them. Like the something. Oh, I'm trying to think. Like, uh, you can do like freezing snow, Oldham for like freezing snow, or like
Oh
something like
yeah,
that,
that
right?
would be the ultimate troll. Everybody thinks, or like, because before I really thought about the 6 letter thing, I didn't notice the question marks until right before we started recording this, and then I went crazy just within the past couple hours. And I had thought it was going to be Terra. I was like, I hope that they show us Terra. And I guess, I, do we know if the deck that they're playing against Ira is supposed to be the new Armory deck, or maybe I was
I
just jumping
was,
to
yeah,
conclusions?
no, I was under the impression that it would be the Armory deck because it's
Because
gonna
if
be,
it,
it's like the same setup as Reiner versus Dorinthia, right? Isn't it? Like, isn't that what the Armory
uh,
promotion is? Because it's like the name of it
no,
says Ira versus someone, so I kind of thought it was gonna be the same sort of product.
no, I didn't think it was a product at all. This fifth anniversary show, this is like their schedule of events. They're saying that they are going to showcase a game. It'll probably be like Mr. Classic versus Carol or something, or maybe we'd get lucky and have James White play in a game. But yeah, I mean, I don't think this is a separate product. I think they're just teasing that they're going to show us Ira versus some unknown hero, which is supposedly the Armory deck. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna be just a teensy bit disappointed if it's Aurora. That's very like, oh, okay, no secret.
Well, I think I would want to see Oldham, right? Like he wouldn't that make sense with the oh my gosh, because he's Guardian, right? Like,
Hmm.
so with the Guardian pack coming out, wouldn't that make sense for him to be able to leverage that? Plus, all those poor ice cards that have just been left abandoned for me to sweep up and own 50 copies of. Like,
Well, that's an interesting point because I didn't really even consider them bringing back Oldhim because there's a lot of people hate Oldhim. A lot of people hate Ice, and a lot of people really hate Oldhim. But I think LSS likes a heal, so maybe.
I think, well, they like a heal, but I think they're also looking to slow down the game more. And who slows the game down more than Oldhim?
That is absolutely true. Break out your channel like Frigids. And you know what? Now this is all, allegedlys, and there's no way anybody could ever know this, but whenever all those other cards were selling a couple of weeks ago, weren't you telling me like, oh, all these ice cards started selling, and it was just like, what? Who is buying these?
Yeah, out of nowhere, a whole bunch started selling, and never did figure out why.
I
Then
listen, if they drop an ice only Oldhim, I will be looking at that with like a. That's
yeah,
a little random there, but uh yeah, I really didn't even consider Oldhim past just like, oh, he's 6 letters. I was so thinking it was Arachne because that would be awesome, and before it was 6 letters, I really wanted it to be Terra, and I thought Terra made sense because you know the Guardian set coming out, but also I had been thinking recently that Bravo star of the show is just like this sleeping giant who had like 6 of his cards limited in Living Legend, which is crazy. And you can only have one Spinal Crush, you can only have one Oaken Old, you can only have one Awakening, etc. But time moves on, we get new cards, and I was thinking this if this armory deck was going to be Terra, well then we're going to get some new Earth cards, and then maybe Bravo can come back to Living Legend. But the same could be said for Oldhim, for sure.
yeah, and I don't know. Maybe I'm just Arya brained here, but I really feel like they love to throw Rune Blades against Guardians. Like,
It's pretty classic matchup.
yeah.
'Cause the Guardians really have to think, do I want to block 3 or do I want to stop 3 rune chance? And spoiler, it's you usually want to stop the rune chance. But man, if they really bring back ice, oh, that's going to be a spicy day on the internet. The Reddit is going to be upset. If there's a new ice
Oh, that
hero,
pack was
I would
a
I
nice thing.
it really would make sense, right? Because I've even seen a lot of people say, "Oh, we went back to Arya and we didn't get ice." And so I mean, there's plenty of ice fans that would be looking for that. So
Well, and that's why I was thinking, like, maybe the next elemental set would be maybe like Ice Lightning, because Earth was kind of the standout here. Despite the fact that Aurora's top dog hero wise, right? Lore wise, they went hardest on Earth, and I think it would be cool if they went a little harder on like Volthaven next time. But the way to round that out is with ice. But if they just bring ice in now, and then maybe they don't bring up another elemental set for even longer, and that kind of opens them up. So,
well, you
and I
gotta
think
think they keep adding more talents, and so it's gonna take longer to circle back around to something every single cycle because it's like, okay, we made Shadow and Light, and then we made the Elementals, and then we made oh, what did they even do after that? I think they went back to Shadow and Light in Dust Till Dawn and such, but if they're gonna cycle through it, but then they have to go back to Draconic and they have to go back to Mystic, otherwise they might think that there's favoritism.
Well, and this is the beauty of the promo hero. And when they announced like Ira initially as a promo hero, I think I was very excited about that because it gives them the ability to release a hero that uses a whole backlog of cards that are currently not being touched at all, and they don't have to wait for a new set to drop these heroes, right? They can change the meta with a single promotion, and I think
I
now
mean,
that
for
we're
Blitz, they
here,
already have. I mean, you
yeah,
mentioned Blaze, but like, he definitely is impacting Blitz.
yeah. So I think this is, I don't know. I wish I would have thought of this before the stream and not while we were talking about it, because I probably would have deep dived it a little bit more. But no, yeah, I'm on team Oldham. I know it's probably going to be Aurora, though. I don't know. Maybe that is the bait, right? Maybe they made it exactly look like Aurora because Aurora's already come out. There's no way they're gonna question mark out Aurora, right? Right?
I really wouldn't think so. And now I'm sitting here trying to think of an 8-letter word followed by a 4-letter word to try and guess what it would be.
Yeah. Well, that's what the meme on the subreddit was. Dromai absolute Chad. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we'll see. I mean, I'd be happy with Dromai too, right? I've got quite a
I think
backlog of a whole bunch of cards that are waiting for one of these heroes to come back. Honestly, so
now see, I wonder if we've got I don't know offhand how many dragons are left that don't have their own special dust. Like, because they put one in every set, and I wonder if they'll bring like if they have plans. It'd be really cool if they had plans to bring out the new Dromai after they've released every sand for every dragon.
yeah, because it does seem weird that they include it in every single
I think
set.
it's
And
supposed to be her. It's supposed to symbolize her pilgrimage in her story, right? Because that's how she is able to summon those dragons. She went to all those places, right? At
yeah,
least
I
I
don't know.
think.
I don't know. Oh, I'm just saying. I don't know. I'm always like, oh great, here's another guaranteed quarter card for to waste the majestic, and usually an expansion slot for it, right? So I'm never happy to see them, personally. But if they're gonna have
It could be
plans,
worse. You know, you
right?
could be opening up Dust Till Dawn and you pull Slay. I don't want to see that card,
I have
honestly.
so many slays. Actually, I think I just bought like 5 more of them today. So we'll find out next mail call. Well, whenever Card Trader feels like getting all the cards and shipping them. In like 2 months, you'll see a whole bunch of slays, I think. But
And honestly, I did want to talk about before we move on from this Guardian thing. Like, I put my money where my mouth was this week, and I bought the PSA 10 Marvel Star of the Show off of you. And I did that specifically because I believe in Bravo Star of the Show. I think that he is just this close to getting pushed back into the living legend meta.
yeah, I mean he's always remained popular. I get a decent amount of messages about buying that card. People want ridiculous discounts, but like they're like, oh, but it's for my son. I'm like,
Yeah, sure.
yeah, okay, yeah. He was like, I had one guy who was like, could you just sell me all your graded cards for like half off? And I'm like, no, absolutely not. He's like, what's the fair? And I gave him like 75% off. It was still, I'm like, oh, for your boy. I can't, if it's for your boy. And then, no, never heard back from him. But I don't know.
Dang.
That's all right. We'll see. We'll see what my next. I've got a crew. I'm hoping, right? Rosetta. So this Rosetta opening, I got the Aldart Aurora. And so she's going off for grading. I need more cards to send off for grading. I've got a couple picked out, but I need these next couple cases to really come through for me. There's a couple I should have sent off. I might send the the Warband of Bologna or whatever, the Bolton Head.
The Warband of Baloney, the Oscar Mayer.
Yeah, I gotta keep
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah, did you pull the EA of that one?
The EA sold immediate. Well, actually, wait, which do I have left? I pulled both in the same box. I had the EA and the regular.
I don't know
Um,
why you wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, hopefully you sold the regular one and grade the EA.
yeah, I think I
Otherwise,
have.
that'd
I
be
think I
silly.
still have the EA because yeah, I really thought it'd go quick. Um, but yeah, no. Actually, and I was surprised the Warmongers. I pulled that Warmongers the other day, and I only just sold that this afternoon. I was thinking that would be like an instant move as well. I
Well,
don't know.
I mean, for as popular as it is, man. Well, we were talking about exciting cards earlier offline, and I think that Warmonger's Diplomacy definitely like suffers from not being exciting. People are like, yes, it's good. Yes, it really wrecks Viserai. Yes, it really wrecks Azalea. But like, nobody wants to play that card in their deck. They wish they didn't have to. They don't want to spend $75 for that thing. But they do.
85. 85 is still on the
Oh
board.
man.
Yeah.
It's getting worse. No, see, it's not the same as Command and Conquer, because to me, whenever you warmongers diplomacy somebody, you know, if it's Azalea and she's not able to counter it with like the long draw glove or whatever, however she would try to counter it, like they're just like, well, I'm sad. And like they pass back. And I don't know. It doesn't feel as good as Command and Conquering somebody with a sink below in their arsenal. To me, anyway.
Yeah.
And that makes it hard to spend that kind of money on a card. I think it's a little bit easier to buy Command and Conquer.
Yeah, but I mean, lots of card movement, and this is something that I've talked to you pretty extensively about off the cast. Was you know when Part of the Mistveil came out, which was the last really big, I think, set. Well, there was kind of a stinker couple sets before Part of the Mistveil, where there wasn't as much of excitement, right? Like we saw attention, numbers, print runs just kind of plateau or plummet. Not great. Part of the Mistveil came out. Everyone was buying Part of the Mistveil cards and just Part of the Mistveil cards for the next weeks, right? Like the meta got set almost within a week, which was crazy because the first weekend it was like a 50-50 Enigma new, and then the next week it was like 80% Zen. And then everything Zen sold, everyone else kind of got swept under, which we're now seeing them come back. And that was it, right? There wasn't a prolonged amount of sales. I mean, I think I went through 5 cases of Misfail. But after like the third or fourth, the commas and the rare stopped moving, and that was it. Now we're what 2 or 3 weeks into 3 weeks? I think 3 weeks now into Rosetta. Everything across the board. I sent you a list of just this past week sales. Not even all of them, actually. I had another 10 sales between the time I sent you that list and right now, which include like the warmongers and everything. Um, Crazy amount of sales, but across every single set. Like Welcome to Wrath is moving, Arcane Rising is moving, Everfest is Tails. A lot of Dust to Dawn. I just don't have a whole lot of outsiders, so maybe I'm not sure if that's moving or not. Actually, I probably should fix that. I think outsiders is probably the one I have the least amount of, just because I hate
You're
opening that set.
biased.
I
Yeah, you're so
hate opening
biased.
that set, which
We're gonna argue about that
yeah,
later.
that's foreshadowing. But yeah, no, it's crazy. Like what I mean, what are you thinking? Like how like I'm looking at it from a sales side, and I think this is awesome because from my eyes, the sales data is showing that the meta hasn't settled. Everyone is viable across every single set. Everyone's just building decks, trying out what they can, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking through here and it's like, you know, you got I mean, you got to go back to Arcane Rising to get some stuff for the new Rune Blades and Dash IO, and there's somebody in here got Sikkim shots. which isn't even traditionally a card that like a competitive Azalea would use, but somebody that wants to build a deck that is maybe, more budget, you could use Sikkim Shot, and that's the one thing that I really did see a pattern of in here is that people were not necessarily only buying the best cards. I see so many cards in here that I don't even think like I've never seen people play. Like I've never had somebody play a Rushing River Yellow against me. Okay.
Yeah. Well, and
So
I'm not.
it's all over the place.
Well, and I'm thinking. I mean, a lot of these come from people buying like one or two of like every card in a set, and I'm not sure people are fleshing out their collections now. Which I think if people are getting back into buying for collections and stuff, then to me that makes me think that people are starting to see more of the staying power. They're not just buying cards for their decks. Collections are coming back. Evil investors are about to profit, right? I love that money, but no, but seeing
Not
those,
financial advice.
yeah, not financial advice. Let me just make money. No, the the collections are building. I think people are filling out their binders. I think that a lot of these cards are there were a couple people buying that I think were just making bulk blitz decks. And that's also exciting, right? Because that means that there's new people coming into stores or communities are growing, and you love to see it. So,
Well, I mean, what points right to that is the 12 bruised leather and the 24 rip apart tokens. The agility slash gold slash might slash vigor that you sold 24 of. Like, who, it, you have to be doing something to like build like, you, nobody would buy that. It doesn't make any sense unless you're trying to build a new community or new decks for that said hopeful community,
the,
right?
the twist on that is 20 of those rip tokens was just a single order. Just one dude bought 20 of them. Just I was like, if you want to get $4 for 20 tokens, whatever, man. Like, I
Yeah.
think you were surprised at how many tokens I sell, but man, people are always buying tokens. People aren't opening sealed like they used to. Uh,
Yeah, I
it's
mean, I
not.
feel like I just have to roll through my bulk and I can find whatever I need. The Zen State token or the Eloquence token might be a little bit deep, but I've got them. And then, but if you really think about it, you probably aren't going to see an Eloquence token unless you've opened like more than one box. I don't think you even are guaranteed an Eloquence token in a single box of DTD.
Yeah, and I've opened 2 cases of DTD at this point, and I think every Eloquence token I have is sold out. So yeah, and there weren't a lot. I would bet you there was only 6 or 7 um, before they started
That's
selling. So
that's really not that many. Like I feel like yeah, I mean for a token to say that you're not even gonna get it once per box, that's no longer a token. That might as well be a rare, even a majestic even.
right, put that in the flex slot. That's so yeah, no, it's been really cool. And, well, I also think this game just like people are maybe learning because boxes are expensive, not just for Fab, across the board, right? Pokemon boxes are like 120 a pop, Magic boxes are 120 a pop. Flesh and Blood boxes are supposed to sell at 120 a pop, though they immediately drop to 80. Uh, you
Yeah, I was
know,
gonna say, or you can
the
get some Monarch Unlimited for like $35.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
wild.
Look forward to that Monarch Unlimited opening because I was picking them up. Yeah, man. Any booster box under $40, I'm just gonna grab, and that'll go into my to open in the future. Right? I'll make a hodgepodge opening of a bunch of them. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really have a choice but to open like footsteps to get your EV back on Monarch, but if you do, you do.
And I think there was 3 or 4 cards that were like $100. It was an unlimited, so I was worried. I was like, oh, maybe these are taking the prices from first, but no, It was the unlimited one. So I don't think it'd be that hard to hit EV on them. I'll I haven't actually done or put unlimited through yet. Normally, I just always buy like first edition. So I might check unlimited. We'll see.
I feel like the unlimited is just like you don't have the EA chance anymore.
No
You
cold
don't have,
foils. Right.
yeah, no coal foils, and the best M hit in the set is Soul Shield at $10 for the unlimited. And then like I think the next most expensive M is only like $3. So I mean like if you don't hit Valiant Dynamo, Footsteps, or there's one other thing that I'm
Was it a
missing.
carapace? What's
Oh
what?
yeah, oh,
Yeah, I didn't. I should
Car-
have pulled up the
Carrion
number.
Husk. Is
Carrion
it
Husk. Yeah,
Carrion
that's it.
Husk?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I mean Carrion Husk is an awesome card, but yeah,
It's up there money wise. I mean, if I pull
yeah.
any of those, I bought 2 or 3 boxes. So I don't know. And honestly, for $40, even like I know I preach the only open if the EV is above it. $40 is a night out at a night like that's what I spent on like Wendy's today. I don't know. Like so if I can open a box and have just a great night and then maybe make back half of that, that's some just pure entertainment money. $20 to throw, 20, $30 to throw around, I'm okay with, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, especially if, oh man, if you have friends that would actually draft with you, that $35 Monarch box is such a good deal. Like, I don't have enough people around me to draft, but if I did, I would totally be buying a bunch of Monarch for it because it's really fun to draft.
Actually, that's got to be the next tier list. Maybe the draftability or fun to draft. Not even fun to draft. Yeah, because
Well, I mean, I wanted to do tier lists based on like any number of things, but you don't actually play the game, so we gotta go by a very specific
that's
metric.
true. That is true. Yeah, but I have actually drafted the game, right? We drafted what Arcane Rising, uh, and Crucible. No, not Crucible. Because that was a. What was the other
Arcane
set we
Rising and
did?
WTR, probably.
Was it? Okay.
Welcome to
Yeah.
Wraith.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. That
It
was
doesn't.
before talents existed. Talents did not exist.
Oh yeah, because that was. I mean, I guess yeah, that was before, or that was just around the time that Crucible came out. Yeah, five
Yeah.
years, man. That doesn't feel like it's been 5 years.
Well, I mean, it's only been
It's
4 years for us, right? Because we
yeah.
didn't get into it until the WTR and Arcane Unlim drop, but that's it's still a long time. It's been 5 years for them, and yeah, the funniest part is I don't even think that they thought that they were gonna do very well because Arcane Rising First Edition dropped whenever they first started closing things for COVID, and
Mm-hmm.
then like. I really do think that it was kind of a little bit COVID that helped propel them to where they are because all the people at home, at least this was my mindset that was like, I'm not seeing anybody anyway. Like I can just buy this and, have a couple game nights with my wife and it's no harm, no foul. It doesn't matter because I can't see anybody else anyway, so it doesn't matter if I have anybody that I know that actually plays this brand new game. And then they started letting people do tournaments online over webcam, and you know, I think that really helped them out to get a lot of eyes, and people were just, at least for me, I felt like I was more willing to give something unknown a shot because of how goddamn bored I was.
Yeah, I definitely. Well, I think it pushed me more towards Magic. Like, uh, well, my problem, right, has always been. Well, I love opening cases, right? But before I didn't have a way to sell, or I didn't really trust online sales all that much. So making back the money, and I was like, how do I get that same vibe from opening a whole bunch of boxes? Because I don't know, just this, even more than opening of the cases is the very zen feeling of organizing the cards afterwards, sleeving everything up really nice, putting everything in the binders. I that's the part I like. So I just moved into bulk. I was like, well, I can just sift through bulk all day, and that hits my mark. So I think after Everfest, because Everfest really bummed me out. History pack dropped, and I was like, that's so dumb. White borders is dumb. What are they doing? And then I was like, yeah, magic bulk, right? I'm not going to be buying these boxes. And then, yeah, I kind of like toned out from Uprising until Bright Lights. And then Bright Lights, I bought like 6 cases of. So I don't know. It was a weird time, but yeah, I don't know. It's been a while since I played. I don't know. The constructed doesn't really interest me. I'm not into sitting down for a 45 minute game. Like, even when it comes to just casual gaming, even online, right? Like, the reason I don't play League of Legends is because, like, I don't want to have like a guaranteed 40-minute game. I was more into Heroes of the Storm, which was almost always 20 minutes.
Well, that
Right?
just means that you should be playing right now. This is your meta. You got to build an Aurora deck and just aggro matchup. Also,
Yeah.
it's the person piloting the deck. I mean, I've played a ton of games, and it is like I just make my decisions faster. Like, I'm not saying that I'm more right than anybody else. I'm like, this is what I'm doing, and I commit. There's so many people that get lost in the tank, and I do that. It's not like it can't happen to me. But generally, if I'm at a tournament and I get up after the match is over, and I'm almost always one of the first people to get up.
Yeah, well, I don't know, there's a lot of memorization and remembering where things are, and I'm just like, I don't know, that's not fun. It's not fun. I want 50 rabbits running at you. I don't know. No think, all fun. Uh, but and again, that comes into fan formats, and I'm just a bigger fan of fan formats than most games usually have. And that's why I'm always excited when I see people like on the subreddit, right? Like,
Trying to do the
OAC.
$50 entry CC, yeah.
Yeah, entry CC. That's pretty cool. I'm actually wondering how much entry CC is having an effect on sales as well, right? And for people who aren't as familiar, I think the rule is just you build a deck for under $50, and if the price spikes out, you got to replace it with something else, right? Like, it's just like your normal format. But I like the idea that keeping a deck completely under $50 is incredibly limiting in this game, and you're gonna get new and exciting styles of decks from each hero. And I think
Yeah,
that's what we're seeing.
it's really good to do something that challenges deck building, because when I've built 2 of these $50 decks, like, I've actually tried to think about like what could be all right or at least fun in the one case. And as I'm going through, it's like, okay, I'm gonna build Vinset for this $50 format, just for the simple fact that she's a legal Shadow Rune Blade. Chain was always my favorite, but Vinset plays a little bit differently. She's a lot harder to play, but she's still the Shadow Rune Blade. So I'm looking at what I can do for this, and she's so underappreciated and underused. Well, because she's kind of not good, but
Right.
like, all of her Majestics right now, I put in that new Eloquent Eulogy, 3 copies of that, 3 copies of every single one of like the Widespread Destruction, Widespread Annihilation, etc. And just in the main deck is where I put like all the $50 and just went with like commons in the equipment basically. And it still looks pretty close to what you would put together for a fully powered CC deck. And then sometimes and that's when I just step back at this game sometimes, and you're just like, well, you take out the Command and Conquer, you take out the Warmonger's Diplomacy, you take out the Tunic, and then because all the other legendaries, it's like if you wanted to build Guardian and you want to buy a tectonic plating, that's like $18. You want to buy some scab skin leathers, that's like what, $30, $50 at most. And that's for like a hero that can be meta. Skullbone cross wrap, I don't think is more than $50. But then there's also Grasp of the Arknight. That guy's like 145. So I mean, like, you remove the expensive equipment and the wildly expensive technical generics, like and and the decks are fairly cheap.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess one of the things I'm not as necessarily as much of a fan of with this game is like two players who are equally skilled. The game just generally goes to the person who has the most money into their deck. Like,
I can
like
I if
right? Like,
yes, and it's really hard to disagree with that, but but also like whenever you are playing at the top table, like it really shouldn't be a question of money at that point. Like if you're a pro golfer, you spent some money on your clubs or whatever. And obviously, I'm not saying that you can make nearly as much money, but I mean, you can still make some, right? But it's eh, don't buy those cards if you're not competing for money and it isn't something that you can afford. That's all I have to say about that.
yeah, but I think that's where entry CC is actually brilliant, right? Because with that $50 cap, it's in, you know, two equal players, it's really just going to come down to you, right? Like, there's no one to blame for your loss except for yourself. You can't blame money. You can only blame your skill and your ability to adapt in sideboard and everything, right?
And I know this from experience from you beating my ass in chess. Like I do think Flesh and Blood has it doesn't have as high a ceiling because like you have to be an absolute genius to make it at the highest tiers of chess. But like I if you are good at this game and sit down against somebody that's only been playing for a month and isn't like and doesn't have like a strong grasp of the game yet, you will trounce them.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know. I think this is, I don't know. I'm just very excited. I'm very excited for not only like a fan format that is starting to spread, uh, but you know, it has a whole website. It's very well done. It's very well illustrated. You know, it's not hard to understand, right? You can explain it to someone with an existing knowledge of Fab in like two sentences. Like, it's CC, but you can't spend more than $50, right? Now, there's probably going to be some enforcement issues because, you know, prices can pretty drastically spike, right? When especially now with like Rosetta cards. You know, one of the things I talked about in my in the opening of Rosetta case was like the 10 cards that were over $100 2 weeks ago are not the same 10 cards over $100 this time. And a lot of cards shifted up and down 50, 20, $30. And if you had one of those cards in your format, then you know, and you built your deck 1 week and then the next week it's not over $50, you know, the idea that you're gonna have to keep constantly or keep track of that. Maybe there's like a web app someone can develop where you put your deck in and then you can see, like, based off TCG low. I don't know.
Well,
There's gonna be
you mean
some.
Fabrary?
Well, yeah, you just have to keep your deck in February and then pull up your February link. Like, look, I'm still under $50, and hope
But the
that.
funny thing is that everything you're saying is just like what everybody that plays on Talishar does every time they play on Talishar. Like, and that's why I have a hard time with anybody that's trying to like poo poo on the format. Like, oh, you got to do $50 and under, and it's like it'll change all the time, and it's like, okay, number one, I don't think it will change all the time. Okay, the prices are definitely in flux when a set comes out, but after like 3 weeks out, like you know, okay, and then and then the prices stay the same. Like it would be very rare for like to be past 3 or 4 weeks into the set, and then like somebody takes something to Pro Tour that nobody thought of, and then spikes a card. Like, and most of the time when I think about cards that like really surprised people, it would be like Matthew Folks doing like
The,
the minnowism thing that ended up selling like the yellow uh crap, what was that Crucible card? I wish I could, but anyway, it just ended up being a whole bunch of cards that nobody would thought to use just because they were 3 power and under, and those were cheap cards anyway.
but even I mean, I would say I really think Rosetta is an outlier compared to every other set. Now, I'm more in the mindset that it's a positive thing, maybe positive trend potentially, where the meta doesn't settle immediately after a set. You know, I think there's enough backlog, enough heroes, enough cards that the meta should be shifting a little bit more. It shouldn't set in stone so quickly after a set. So maybe things will change going forward. And just because something's new and unique doesn't necessarily mean we see the spikes. I was actually thinking back to when Rosetta was announced, that tournament, the guy who won was Zen busted out Zephyr Needles, right? And
Oh yeah.
we were like, what? It's Zephyr Needles? And I was like, oh boy, load up those Zephyr Needles in the shop. No, I'm bottom.
Zephyr Needle is an interesting card though, because whenever stuff like that happens, whenever you're like, wow, how is an extremely greedy card actually working right now? And it's because those decks were degenerate, and everybody was playing Zen, and everybody was like, I'm on Zen, and I know you're gonna be on Zen. I don't want to block. I know you don't want to block. Here's these Zephyr Needles.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It's I just always think back to that Zephyr Needle play, and I was like, genius. But then I don't know. I don't actually. I wanted to. I was thinking that was on my list of things to do this week. Was I wanted to actually start pulling up some of the deck lists after that event to see if anyone else even like top aided with the Zephyr Needles, but haven't gotten around to it yet.
I thought there were two on it, or no? Was it one that got into the finals that had it and the other one didn't, or something? That might have been it.
Yeah, I don't know. I just specifically remember it only because I didn't care about the tournament at that point. Because I was just like, oh, Zen's gonna win. Okay. But Rosetta, ooh, that's exciting. And then he got to come up during the trailer, and as they like announced cards, the kid who won with the Zephyr Needles, he got to like give his takes on every card that they released, or like spoilered and stuff. So it was really cool. I like when they do that kind of stuff. Let the players in there like right off the bat give their impressions of everything. So
Yeah. And you were talking about the meta being solidified, and I mean, I guess it kind of is. I mean, we definitely have Aurora and Enigma at the top. I'm gonna go off the classic constructed wins from the metagame minute.
from
From
London,
this past, yeah,
yeah.
for this past week, and we got basically equal numbers of Aurora and Enigma, which they're both just, people are saying that Enigma plays the Guardian game better than anyone else, and that's probably true. Manifestation of Moraga is pretty amazing. And I mean, there's plenty of good cards in that deck, but and then Aurora's got her just absolute blistering speed, plus the ability to combo with Flicker Wisp, which you talk so much about how Rosetta like revitalized old cards, and Flicker Wisp is absolutely my favorite example of that, because Flicker Wisp is a card that people really just, they did not care about that card. It's not really, it didn't matter. And now it is like one of the best M's that you could probably pull out of Tales of Aria right now.
Mm-hmm.
And
You, Natty Fatty, you are the third person to show up, and you see yourself down there. So yeah, not a third person. It's just us in chat. So yeah, that's it. Um, but yeah, so yeah, no, Flicker Wisp was exciting. until the mass price rule really hosed me, because someone else fat fingered their price, and then my poor flicker whips got automatically dumped down right before they fixed the price. So all mine sold for 50 cents, which I made some changes to my mass price rules, I assure you. So people can't play that game again. I don't think they did it on purpose. I think the fact that they did like 58 cents to me means they probably meant to do like 580, because everything was like mid $5. But I mean, that was a card I stockpiled. Even at 50 cents, selling at 50 cents, I tripled what I paid for those cards. Like,
Oh wow.
yeah, they were 10-15 cent cards for a very long time, and now they're $5 cards. And that's just one of those beautiful things about this game, where they don't cycle out everything. Or, there's not like that cycle, right? The only thing that goes away are heroes and their weapons, which is a shame. I really wish they wouldn't get rid of the weapons. I don't know, maybe because there are so many other heroes that can play those cards, right? Like,
I think it's a little silly whenever a hero living legends and takes a weapon with them, and that weapon was like never used anyway.
oh yeah, well, never used, but I mean, who was it? Was it KO used the no? Wait, who used the mandible claw?
KO. KO will
Yeah.
take out mandible claws when he LLs.
Yeah, but who was actually using the mandible claws?
Well, for the longest time, it was just Leviah and Reinar,
Right.
but
Yeah,
but that's just because Blood Rush Bellow and Mandible Claws is a really killer duo.
yeah.
So I mean, when KO LLs, he's gonna bring down the entire brute class.
Yeah, which is a shame, right? Like, I don't know. I mean, Kraken's Aether Vein was another example, right? Like, it
Well,
was
that
a
card
good
had to
thing.
die.
Well, that card had to die, but it had a lot of use outside of Icelander, right? Like,
No,
now, right? Potentially, right? Like, well,
it's one of those things where they knew what they did, and they specifically, for the entire time that Kraken's Ether Vein was legal, they did not print anything that could pump it whatsoever. And as soon as it Living Legend out, they made Kindle, and then they made Rosetta with an entire set of amp, and they, let it run wild at a Living Legend tournament, and that was funny, and now it's gone.
yeah. And then I'm trying to think I think the third example is which one of the Teklo pistols, right?
Oh
Was
yeah,
widely
they're gonna.
used. Yeah.
Yeah, whenever Dash Inventor Extraordinaire goes, people are gonna be sad with their Tecloplasma pistol.
Yeah. So I think there's enough example. Well, yeah. There's at least 3 examples where I wish they would revert it. I don't know, but I believe usually when I see topics about this is that they don't always they don't or haven't always removed it. I mean, because it was a later change, right? It wasn't
No,
an original. I don't think originally they removed the weapons. I think it was after the first or second hit Living Legend that they decided to do it.
yeah, they went back and like made sure like every hero, like not every weapon, or not. I don't think every hero has a signature weapon, but yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. There's enough gray area there. I hope that that's something that they think about. Or I don't know if they can. I'm trying to remember what this wasn't a topic I think I originally planned on going into, or I probably would have looked into it a little more. But I do think was there a weapon that was attributed to 2 heroes originally, like back in like.
I don't think it would have been attributed to them, like not when they were like making it signature weapon. No, I don't think. But I mean, every ninja used harmonized Kodachis or whatever, right?
Oh yeah. So I don't know. It's interesting. Well, not interesting. I don't know. I don't like it. I think leave the weapons alone. Most heroes.
Yeah, the harmonized Kodachis whenever Katsu goes, that'll be brutal. I don't know. I don't think I know how to play ninja without swinging 2 katanas. I'm totally erasing Phi because he's red deck wins, and I
Yeah.
don't care.
Yeah, I just wonder if they just print another version of that hero. and make it their weapon. I don't know. Has a
I mean,
hero hit Living Legend and then another version comes out of them with the same weapon?
no, I don't think that they would do that. Because they didn't give, like, Bravo Star of the Show didn't have a signature weapon. Anathos is the signature weapon of Bravo's Showstopper. So I don't think that they make more than one hero have the same weapon. Like, I mean, I can't say that they wouldn't. Like, Azalea, whenever she LLs, she's gonna take Death Dealer with her, and maybe Death Dealer is lore important enough to Azalea that they would unban it whenever Azalea comes back in a new form, but also I kind of doubt it because I think Death Dealer has a similar problem to Kraken's Ether Vein. Not nearly as strong, but drawing a card's always strong. They just banned a bunch of cards that drew cards. Death Dealer is strong.
Bravo Star of the Show does have a signature weapon. I thought he did. Do you
Oh,
know
what
what
is
it
it?
is? Winter's Wail.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Wasn't Oldhim still playing Winter's Wail after he LL'd? Am I stroking out?
I don't know.
Maybe they did that before the ban thing? Because I really... Yeah, I mean,
Well, that's what I was saying.
Oldhim still played.
Yeah, I really think that they're very selective. Well, I think they almost always remove the signature weapon, but I think sometimes they don't. And I think
Maybe
that's the
maybe that's the weird one. Because maybe it's just lore important to say that that's his signature weapon because Oldhim passes it down to him, I'm pretty sure is the whole deal because that's like how Bravo gets his powers anyway.
I wonder what is. While we're here, I'll just look up what is Oldham's signature weapon.
I think his signature weapon is Winter's Wail.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. So yeah, two had the same signature weapon. Okay. So there's some
News to
precedent.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not realize.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm not. I can't remember where we got to the point of them. How did we get to remove the signature weapons from the meta? But
I'm not really sure.
I honestly, yeah, no, I don't know. We just kind of tangented. Oops.
There is another tangent that I want to talk about that has to do with the meta, and that's Aurora's signature weapon. Because the other day, you pulled the cold foil, and I don't think that you would have realized it until much later unless I would have called it out. But the cold foil of Starfall is quite expensive.
Yeah, yeah, I never would have imagined. Just because I don't think cold foil weapons or cold foil commons in either the equipment or weapon slot, I just don't think have been worth much of anything since Monarch, right? Like
Yeah, I
I
mean,
really think that's when, because it used to be, and I think that's why I got frustrated going into Everfest, right? Because Everfest, they're like, oh, well, let's just whip out 40 cold foils. Everything's a cold foil now, and then all the value is just gone, right? You can't put value into like 40 different cold foils, but Arcane Rising, Crucible, and I think Monarch, up to Monarch, because Monarch had the cold foil. I think like the blood drop. I think all the cold foil armor Monarch was still worth. Like those were the big hits, because that's all pre-Marvel and everything, and that was cold foils had value. Those were the hunt cards, and now cold foils, you can get cold foils for a quarter. That's a shame to me. Like I like having those hunt cards. I mean, Marvels are cool. I love a Marvel. Don't get me wrong, but like
I
Cold.
think it's kind of important to cold foil everything actually, because there's always somebody that's gonna like. If Findall Spring Tunic wasn't so expensive in cold foil, or if Arcanite Skullcap wasn't so expensive in cold foil, you know I would not want to be sitting down with anything but a full cold foil set. And that's important. Even if you want to play your commoner format, I guarantee you that if the $50 entry format ever took off as like a real format that a lot of people played, there would be some dum-dums like me, you know, getting the cold foil version of the terrible card because, you know, who cares if you're playing the expensive version? You got to go buy the cheapest version for the $50 deck, right? So I don't know. The whole world is so weird that I very much think that there would be somebody that would sit down with a $50 entry deck that was like, well, it would be under $50 if these weren't all the promo versions of those cards, but here we are.
Yeah, I don't know. I think now more recently, I just don't always like cards in cold foil anymore. I think the first card. Oh, what card was it? It was a card where it was just like the fingertips. It was
Oh,
a
poison tips.
yeah, poison tips. Poison tips cold foil. I remember looking at that and I was like, you know what? I don't think I like every weapon or equipment in a cold foil version. I think sometimes it's just better in rainbow foil. And you know, as I'm picking up a bunch of these heavy hitter promos, like Perry Blade or like the mini meat axe, I'm like, you know what, these look so good in rainbow foil. And I think the what really drove it home was in Rosetta. I pulled two cold foils. It's that stupid not stupid, it's actually gorgeous. It's like the wrist, the blue thingy on the wrist. I don't know, I might
The
have it
hold
right here.
focus.
Yeah, the hold focus. Actually, I think I have it here. Let me see. Where are you? Oh, is it not this pile? I don't know. I've got piles. Yeah, hold focus, right? Bomb. Well, you can't really see. You know what? It doesn't look great in cold foil. You can't really even tell in this that it is cold foil. I got two of them.
Yeah.
They'll never sell. But you know what this would look amazing in? Rainbow foil. And it's coming in the promo. I don't know. I'm like I said,
I
from
feel
the
like you've
collector's
never
edition.
seen a horrible rainbow foil. You ever look at a rainbow foil Ravenous Rabble?
I feel like in a lot of my box openings I talk like the older sets have terrible rainbow foiling. I really think rainbow foiling really didn't come into its own until
It's really hit or miss, though.
probably
Like
I think it was Dust to Dawn. I think Dust to Dawn is where they finally really got it. Like there's definitely some good ones in Dynasty. Dynasty had some really cool fire foiling and stuff, but I keep telling myself and everyone on my videos, every time I stream, I'm like, I'm gonna look up this foil lady's name because they have a specific person they hired on who's just in charge of foiling, and when they hired her on, night and day change, right? Like the foiling was better because you know the early sets. I think I did that opening of Crucible and WTR.
well, see,
It
even
was just like
between editions, I wanted to point out that so it's really expensive to buy a Crucible first edition box, but back when it was new, I ordered a lot of singles and I was rainbow foiling out my brute deck. A first edition rainbow foil Beast Within is some of the coolest foiling you'll see. I love that card in rainbow foil.
yeah, there's a couple. My favorite one from like Welcome to Wrath is it Singing Spellblade? Sing Steelblade?
Singing Steelblade.
Steelblade, yeah, Sing Steelblade. Yeah, that one's a gorgeous card. Like the gold blades everywhere. And I guess you could argue that I think it was Monarch had their I think they were testing gold foiling, but their cold foil like ray of something, all of their cold foiling was actually just gold, like gold beams shooting. And was it what is it called? Was it like it wasn't ray was it ray of like purification? No, something of beams. I don't know. I'm gonna have to pull. I have a ton of them because as soon as I saw one of them, I was like, "This is the prettiest cold foiling I've ever seen." I didn't realize. I thought looking at them that they just were doing gold foiling on normal cards, and I was like, "Holy crap!" But no, it was just an old cold foil. But
I
and
really want to
yeah,
know which one that is because
I
I'm
know. I
really
kind
not
of
sure.
want to run upstairs and find it, but then I'll just be lost up going. That's the problem, right? I started opening a binder, going through looking for that cold foils, and I'm just a sucker for a shiny card. You're looking at playability. I don't care about playability.
I
I'm upset this $1 card isn't in rainbow foil.
I
That's the
appreciate
biggest
you
cry of the set.
underestimating how shallow I am. Even though I'm sitting over here with 3 copies of the Fable Command and Conquer.
Yeah, yeah. Let me see. Oh,
Oh,
let's
we got
see. What?
somebody asking what the best card is in the set, Rosetta. Absolutely, Rosetta Thorn is the best card in the set if we're talking about money, or if we're talking about how freaking beautiful it is, because we got Carlos Cruchaga doing his stuff. Man is an awesome artist.
Yeah, actually, let me see. I think I can.
But if we're talking power level, I think the strongest card in the set that is just like for playability, in my opinion, is Felling the Crown.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, honestly, all the Marvels look gorgeous. I just blotted out my own face and it's half a chat, but this is
That's okay. This
the
Rosetta
fun.
Thorn's prettier than either of us.
Yeah. This is just one side of it too. The other side is equally as gorgeous. So
The
yeah.
other side isn't Carlos Cruchaga though. Not that I want to downplay
Uh,
anyone. It's all opinions. But I love it because you've got all of the Rosettas. Like it's like a whole bunch of Briar and her, brothers and sisters or whatever they are, all the Rosetta like holding it out. It just looks so majestic. I love that card. I would, yeah. I gotta. We'll have to strike a deal if you ever actually pull that card.
yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. I feel like if I ever get this, it's going straight to grading. Do not pass go.
That's fine. I'll wait until you get it back.
I'm still kind of bummed that I sold the Singularity Tech Boston without grading it. But honestly, like I needed at some point there's a balance between like being able to wait. I'm trying to think if there. Oh, I do love. Oh, I just love her gun and flash art. But there's I don't know. There's the weird balance as a seller of like, can I afford to hold on to $500 or do I gamble? Right, because that's in the time that I could take the grade it. Right, there's 3 months. Right, easy before I see
Yeah.
any return. You're not guaranteed to hit the same amount that you could sell it for raw, or do I turn that into 2 cases of Rosetta and try something else? So yeah, it's a little
Well, what
sad, but
you gotta do 5 more cases of Rosetta at least. That way you can guarantee that you can pull the Rosetta Thorn.
yeah.
Or
So
are we thinking that it would be more than that? I mean, nobody really knows how many there are, but I think the 100 copies thing was debunked. I feel like it would cost way more than it costs right now if it was 100 copies.
I think if it was only 100, they would have touted it like they did the Enigma ones, right?
Yeah, so that must have just been a rumor, a nasty rumor. Okay.
Gosh, I really wish I knew what the card was. I don't think it was Ray of Hope. Sorry,
Ray of Hope. That's from Dusk Till Dawn, isn't it?
Monarch. I'm looking at it right now.
I was gonna say I gotta bring up Fabrary because I'm like not sure which card that is. I don't know why.
Can I look for light? No.
Oh, because it's not an equipment. I don't know why I thought you said it was an equipment. Are you
No,
sure that you're?
we were talking about equipments, and then I totally.
So are you? So now that I'm looking at this card and I realize what it is, are you possibly talking about the cold foil Ray of Hope? Yeah.
Is that
Right?
Ray of Hope? Let me see.
Because Ray of Hope was one of the Monarch. It was either release or pre-release promos that they did in Cold Foil, and the Ray of Hope Cold Foil would absolutely be gold because the Solana border is gold, and they just make whatever the border is Cold Foil whenever they do that. So if you have a Ray of Hope promo, that you very well could have a cold foil that is golden because of the Solana border, the light border.
Yeah, but I mean, even like, yeah, the middle of it looked just gold. I don't know. It's a gorgeous card. That's all I'm gonna.
It looks great. I'm just saying
Yeah.
that's why you thought it was a gold foil, because like if you were to get a Marvel Dorinthia, let's say, Dorinthia, her front, if it was Marvel, would have that gold Solana border on it.
Oh my gosh. I don't, I'm just slowly going through every single promo. Actually, I spent too much money on promos today. I don't know. It's not.
You spent a whole
Not really good.
$10 on Lady Barthamont.
Listen, best girl gets everything.
Why
Yeah,
why
actually,
are you so you're just like an F boy. Who's best girl to you? I thought it was Life of the Party Girl. I thought it was Valda. Now it's Lady Barthamont. You just can't
no,
make up
it's
your
never been
mind.
Valda. The life of the party. It's just the ladies. Okay, they're not best girl. They're just ladies. Okay, they. Oh my gosh, let me bring her up. Everyone will be able to see her perfection. I'll just name this pictured best girl and save it. Sorry, this is yeah. I wish I could. I don't know. I don't remember. TCG player. So I have a bunch of opinions about filters on various websites. Like Card Trader, you can't search by multiple things. Like you can't search for both promos and majestics. You can't search by card condition, which is very annoying. But you can search by like element. So I can search for all light cards. I can search for all shadow cards. TCG player doesn't let me search by light or shadow, but it does let me search for everything else. I don't know. It's really annoying. It bothers me because I'm always like, come on. Downloads. Best girl. Vision. Wait, where'd she go? Where are you hiding, lady?
I love how you got to
Float.
show everyone because nobody plays mentors.
Which is a shame. A darn shame. Okay. I think she's off screen somewhere.
Well, you got to
Shoot.
fix Blitz as a format and get a lot of people into playing Blitz, and
Oh my
then
gosh. Where? Can I not bring her? How do I bring her into the? Oh my gosh. I'm just gonna have to delete it and re-add it, I think. All right. Sorry. Okay. Take two. Take two. Adding another picture. Some things.
he's got to figure out how to edit the scene here in a minute.
Image two. Best girl.
There we go.
There we go. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I just
Yeah, I mean this is like your standard
goth
European
mommy.
goth lady.
Yeah. 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 That's the elegant way to say goth mommy. That's I like that.
She'll have you eating some monster's heart in no time.
I love that she's the brute mentor. Like, yeah. I don't know. I feel
But yeah,
like
I wonder what Levia shows up and she's like, yes, yes, eat this heart. And then you look at like young Levia, whatever she's like in like that circle. Yeah, I don't know. She's absolutely crazy. I just feel like as a mentor, probably more of like a bad influence than anything else. Like, yeah, go and talk to those shadow demons. It's fine. It's fine.
man. Oh man. I'm never gonna find this card until I go upstairs. Okay, I gotta not be obsessed with this. This is what always happens. I'm always thinking of like one card and then away I go. It wasn't Angelic Wrath, was it? Because it was a light card with like light beams shooting. Angelic Wrath looks kind of like it.
I thought you said it was Ray of Hope.
No, I was thinking if it was Ray of Hope. I'm throwing out names. I don't know. It might have been Ray of Hope. I just have to see. I don't know. The shiny.
Well, do you want to get on to the good part and start arguing? Because I have much better luck than you, and, you know.
You want to argue right now? Okay. Let's get fighting. So, today, we were discussing... Oh, well, actually, here, let me... a whole brand new scene for everyone to look at. Woo! All right, so... What set is the most fun to open? This will be decided and divided up. Well, we will fight out where we believe each set sits, compromise, and then put it into a tier. Our tiers are Riled Up, which is obviously S tier, right? Most fun, absolute best. I think it's good to set some context for each of the categories. Riled Up is like, even at full MSRP prices, I would be opening boxes of it. It's a great open. It's fun. Life of the party, I think, map prices. I'm up in those cases at map. And they're fun, right? Like, I mean, I'm sort of, I don't know, maybe my idea of quality is assigning money. Like, how much would I pay to open that box is kind of where I'm thinking. Like, that's how I judge fun, right?
I didn't go entirely by money. Although it kind of matters. It matters a little bit. It matters.
Right? Because I think
But
the more fun it is, the more willing you are to spend the money on it, right? Like, you're not going to drop $100 on a set that's miserable, I think.
I mean, when we're talking about fun, and so now we have to talk about dopamine, and you get more dopamine when you open a more expensive card. You are going to get riled up when you open up a Marvel Singularity. Although
Yeah.
I don't have Bright Lights as a riled up set. Maybe we'll argue about that. We'll see.
I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, Timidity Point is just, it's an okay set, right? Yeah, it's probably, it's okay, right? Like, it's fun to open. There's not really anything too crazy, but it's not a bad set to open. You're not going to have a bad time. Dumpster Dive is going to be where the bad times start happening. In my eyes, those are the swingier sets where, like, the boxes aren't as even, right? Where you could buy 2 cases and one case could have a return of like $100, but also have that chance of like $600. I don't know. That's that, like, you've got to be okay with those dumpster boxes, I think. And then Shred, one of the coolest card arts, I will say. I love the art on Shred. I wish I could find... Ever since you told me about Shred being on a playmat, I've been hunting for that playmat.
I told you it's impossible.
Yeah.
Me and another dude in Pittsburgh are the only 2 people I know that have it, because they are so limited, because James White wanted a very gory art and had to send it back 3 times telling him that it couldn't be that gory, and then they wanted to make it an Armory promo, and then they couldn't send it as an Armory gift to certain countries because it was too gory, and so they only have like 50 of them, and I've got one. It is one of my favorite mats.
So, despite the fact that Shred is a gorgeous, amazing card, it's also what we are going to refer to as just destroying the worst of the worst. I know only one set that belongs in the Shred category. We'll see if you agree, but
more stuff to fight about. That's fine.
Yeah, I personally am very well. Know what? 2. There's 2 that belong in Shred. I think.
I mean, I'm really tempted to make it 4. I'm tempted to make it 4 in the Shred.
4 in the Shred? I don't know. Honestly, I was kind of concerned that we'd be bumping everything up in the top 3. I think you have to have cards in every every level of the tier to really like
Maybe it's
effort,
only
but
3 in shred, but one of we'll get to it. How are we gonna start? Are we gonna start the oldest set or the newest set?
we're gonna start with the oldest. And I will preface this: I did not split out first and unlimited. I'm just thinking
Eh,
parts, right? Wait, because I should have maybe done that for the money value wise, but I
I'm
don't
gonna
know.
go. I want to say that this is based off unlimited because I want to say that like let's just go by like what's attainable. Because if we're talking about first edition Arcane Rising or first edition Welcome to Wraith, it's obviously riled up because if you
Right.
pull Cold Foil Tunic or you pull a first edition Rainbow Foil Command and Conquer, you're gonna crap your pants.
I need to block your face on the other monitor because I keep looking at you over here, and then I'm not looking over here. I'm like, yes, yes, Andrew, how are you doing? And then I realize that the camera is looking at the side of my head. I need to look at you there. Okay. Anyways, welcome to Wrath. All right, I'm just gonna for at this moment. This is what we're talking about. Where would initially off your head? Where's Welcome to Wrath sitting?
Life of the party for me. It's life of the party.
This is gonna start terribly. Start so bad because this is easily a dumpster dive. Why?
I can see why you don't want to open it up for money, but I love drafting, and you can pull a tunic. You can pull a tunic, okay? Like
You can pull a tunic out of like 5 different sets at this point.
and it's still $100 no matter how you slice it. It's a card that you could use in like practically every deck. Like if you're a new player and you open up a tunic, it's like, ah! Like it's never not going to be life of the party to me. It's too fun to open. It's this is the kind of card that maybe you don't think that it's life of the party right now, but whenever you go through the bulk in 10 years and you get some rainbow foil sink belows and some rainbow foil pummels, and I think a lot of that stuff is going to go up because they aren't going to reprint rainbow foils. So yeah, if you go purely by cash value, I see where you're coming from, but there's a lot of intangibles going on here.
See, the only card I care about pulling from Welcome to Wrath, I think, is a heart, and I love
Oh,
the heart, right?
I
Because
how did I not even mention the heart?
you didn't even
That's
mention the
better than the
heart.
tunic.
It's so
Yeah,
much better. Because honestly,
win this argument for me.
I loved opening my first tunic. I was almost as excited on my second tunic. Did not care on my third tunic. Definitely didn't care on my fourth and fifth tunics. Like,
Well, that's not the average
right?
experience.
They're way overprinted. You can just throw a stone and find a tunic these days.
Everybody that
One.
plays this game should be aspiring to have a tunic if they like this game. If you really love the game, you should save up for a tunic because it is like, okay, maybe Heart of Find All is the Black Lotus, but the tunic is a dual land at the very least. Come on,
And to me,
or a Mox.
but to me, Welcome to Wrath isn't synonymous with Tunic anymore. As soon as you start overprinting and putting it into too many sets, it's just a whatever card. It's no longer why I'm buying Welcome to Wrath. There's so many other sets I would buy because with Welcome to Wrath, there's only 2 cards you're going for, and it's Heart and it's Tunic. But I can get Tunic from anything. And I don't know, maybe because I've already opened.
The thing that makes that hard to open is the majestic slot. You only get 2 majestics. Now, granted, they fluffed it up with super rares, but they're all the bad majestics basically. Like you need to hit E-Strike. Used to be able to hit Tome of Find All, but that shit got burnt.
Yeah, and the supers aren't great to open. I don't know. There's really no big majestic hits, right? And there's no big super rare. You can buy most of those super rares for 15 cents because I just bought a bunch of them today. Actually,
How's Remembrance doing? I bet that's pretty good.
I don't know if you remember. I opened when I did my Welcome to Wrath. I pulled up a Rainbow Foil Remembrance, which I think sold for 10. But
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, it was like whatever.
250 ain't bad for a super rare, considering.
Yeah, it's just not exciting. The super rares are bad. The majestics are bad. One of the two chase cards you can get from any other set. And honestly, I think there's other sets that have Tunic that have much more exciting chase cards in them as well. So it's just lame. I don't know. And then, I mean, I've opened a ton of Welcome to Wrath. I don't know. I kind of blank out how many cases of Welcome to Wrath I've opened, because I think originally I was trying to just like collect a bunch of them, and then maybe I have a little bias because I dropped a phone in my first Hard to Find L that I opened, uh, just
You're just
immediately,
jaded.
yeah, just wiped 60% of the value off that card immediately. But there's just not a lot there. Like you're excited about a couple rares, or right? Or I mean, Sink Below, Sigil of Solace, Red, Razor Reflexes, maybe. I
Yeah, I mean, I
mean,
think that there's plenty of rainbow foils in that set that over time, I really think that it's going to get there. Especially considering they don't print Battle Worn 2 anymore. Everything's temper, everything breaks. I think those rainbow foil legendaries will eventually go up too. But yeah,
I think we're gonna have to compromise that timidity point then. I don't
that's
know.
fine.
If you're
That's
life of the
fine.
party, actually, the more we talked about it, I almost moved it down to a shred. Because there's just no redeeming qualities in this set to open anymore. Uh,
Spoken
Real
like a
rough.
true person that doesn't play the game.
Oh my gosh. Uh, I mean, I've got a bunch of Welcome to Wrath you can buy. No one else is buying it. Even in this last huge hurrah of everyone buying cards from every single set, Welcome to Wrath wasn't moving much of anything. I think some Iron Song Determinations were in there. That's about it.
I think there actually was some singing steel blades too, but
Yeah, it's just not touched anymore.
maybe I'm
Real
looking at it through rose-colored glasses, but
Yeah,
I
you
like
gotta.
that set.
Well, that's the thing is, if it was first edition, then that's a whole other story, right? Or like the alpha, that's exciting. Now it's like whatever. It's also the most way overprinted set, which is it's crazy that there's what it was what almost a
I
half.
don't think I don't think is it overprinted compared to like Tails and Monarch? Aren't those printed more?
Oh yeah, no. Welcome to Wrath, I think is like, oh gosh, I can't pull it up because, well, we're looking at the list, but
Well, we
you
can
you
we can
pull up the
not
collector's
important.
center. No, but I think Welcome to Wrath is almost double every other set. Like probably double the second most highest printed set. Welcome to Wrath Unlimited. Um
Hmm.
Gross. It was
I
gross.
am pulling it up because now I want to know.
I want to say it's like
On
385,000, right?
248.
Is it only 248? Is that the one
Yeah,
that they
200.
destroyed a bunch of? Because if
No, the one that they destroyed was Everfest Unlimited.
I know they did that, but I thought that Welcome to Wrath just had like warehouses full of like the unlimited that they ended up destroying as well.
I don't know anything about that. But
Yeah,
I do
it
see
was.
Monarch was 181,000 unlimited and 125,000 first, so that's more. And Tails was 76,000 unlimited and 208,000 first edition. So it's like whenever they went into the unlimited of Tails, they knew that they had made a mistake, but that's still more than Welcome to Wraith.
Well, let's just move on here to our next set. Well, we'll talk about Monarch when we get to Monarch. There's a lot of feelings about Monarch.
Arcane Rising, this is a riled up for me. This is a riled up for me.
What are you looking for in Arcane?
Command and Conquer.
Right.
Command and Conquer. Um, it used to be Art of War, but if you're in LL, Art of War is still amazing. I still think you should have those cards. Grasp of the Arknight. That's probably one of the most expensive legendaries in any set right now. 145, I think. And I love Grasp of the Arknight. I mean, you got all of the legendaries are very exciting in this set. This set is harder to draft. It's not as newbie friendly as WTR, but we're talking about Storm Striders, where you kill your opponent on their turn. We're talking about Grasp of the Arknight, which fuels making rune chants, which is only getting better with things like Florian making so that his rune chants, he makes 2 rune chants instead. And Command and Conquer is never not going to be great, especially if you pull a rainbow foil. That's like $150-$200 card. And I know that these are the niche hits, but like Arcane Rising, if you could find a box for a decent price and take a gamble on it, I would definitely go for that. Not financial advice, but I love Arcane Rising. I love that set.
And again, you missed the eye, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't think about the Fable quite as often because you're just not gonna pull it, and you'll be happier if you pull it if you didn't think you were gonna pull it anyway. So.
Yeah, but I mean, I have video was seeing use not that long ago, right? I mean, I think it's still seeing use. So it's
The funny thing about Eye of Ophidian now is that Will of Arcana has come out and power crept it. They went and power crept a Fable.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, now it's possible that Kano, we move forward in time and get into a living legend meta once Kano's gone, and we get the question of like, do you play Eye of Ophidia so that you can see the card whenever you Kano, or do you play the amp? And I think you just pretty much just play the amp all the time. Like I think 1 more damage is better than like the randomness where Eye of Ophidia sort of let you have that optical monocle like free card off the top because you're going to look at it and see if it's tome or not. But it that's the first Fable that they've ever power crept, and it kind of surprised me. And I know it's not a direct power creep, but for what somebody would put in their deck once they put out Will of Arcana, they're like, okay, well, I'm gonna drop Eye of Ophidia and put Will of Arcana in my deck.
Yeah. Now, for me, it's life of the party. I mean, I don't know if it's full riled up. I do really love that there are callback cards to it, right? Like Arcane's moving now, still, not as much as I expected. I think I expected a lot more movement when Rosetta came out. I thought there would be a lot more with the 2 wizards. I thought Arcane Rising would be like, I thought it would be pumping, but it's really not. It is exciting, but I also wouldn't spend more than like, I think when I was buying multiple cases of this that I just have like in my little sealed vault, I think they were down to $50 a box. I was paying less than 200 a case.
I'd love to pay 50 a box for that. Right? Dang.
Yeah, that's what I paid for that. And there's a long time that Welcome to Wrath and Arcane Rising Unlimited were both 50 a box. And I don't know if people realize. I was shocked when you told me that you're like, oh, Arcane Rising's up to $100 a box. And I didn't believe you. I was like, there's no way. But yeah, no, it hit 100 and I don't think it ever went back down. So it was cool to see
I think that Arcane Rising is just, there's less of it, right? Did they print the same amount? I'm the one in the collector's center. Let me see here.
No, it's definitely less.
Yeah, no, it's much less. Yeah.
I'd say half, right? Probably.
No, it's not. So it's 179,000 of unlimited. So I mean, it's like 50,000, 60,000 is less or something. Not a whole lot, but there's definitely less. And yeah, I mean, that's a great box. Plus, it's purple. Purple's better than brown. Let's go.
It does go well. Okay, well, we have to have a tiebreaker because there's no middle ground between Riled Up and Life of the Party. Eddie, are you in chat? Can you be our tiebreaker?
I don't even see the chat. You've got it covered up.
Oh yeah, good. No, this is perfect.
Oh, it's over on the side.
Oh yeah, it's up. Actually, I don't even know which one I have. Oh shoot, I have the test overlay. Oh, let's remove that real quick. Okay, one sec. Boom. Okay. Wait, where did it go? Is it back? Are we back? Oh, it might be in the middle. Okay. Oh yeah, I don't know. Dude.
Whoa.
Well, that's a. Oh, okay, no Eddie. All right. I don't know. Maybe I
I'll let you have the life of the party on this
on that
one,
one.
because
I was
because
saying,
because I
I don't
mean
know.
it is expensive to buy. Like you do
It
have a
still
bit of a
is,
high
and
standard.
it's maintaining its value. And though I don't know, I don't think I would pay $100 to open Arcane Rising, which is I think why
Yeah,
it's that life of the party, right? Like, would you spend 100? Would you pay the current box price to open it up right now?
it's really tough because you could ask me the same. Like, it really depends. Like, how unattainable is this going to be? Like, I think I don't have any FOMO for Arcane Rising right now, no, but I think that if it started to go up, I might, because I would want to open it, like, maybe on my deathbed or something.
Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna hide chat again. Okay, sorry chat. Um, yeah,
Next
I
is
don't know.
Crucible.
Now Crucible. Oh gosh. All right.
This is
Well,
my
right now.
first shred. I'm gonna get it right out there. I
What?
hate this set. Even though I was
Really?
just even though I was just hyping up the Rainbow Foil Beast Within, this is the set that I have opened the least of by far, because it's absolute trash. And maybe and maybe my inherent luck has colored my vision of this set, because anytime I open up sets, I'm pulling legendaries, I'm pulling good stuff. Crucible doesn't have enough good stuff in it.
Are you kidding? My PSA 10 Breeze Rider boots and cold foil. Couldn't do it
That's
right.
first edition, man. We said
Yeah, I know.
we said we're going by unlimited.
Oh man, I don't know. So this is where my nostalgia kicks in because I loved opening Crucible.
Now, I mean, if you're
Crucible
gonna
first
go
was
ahead
also my
and
first
pull
boxes. Yeah.
you get the twinning, you get the twinning blade, the EA twinning blade.
Oh
That's
my
pretty
gosh,
nice.
that's a gorgeous card. I think that was the first real specialty
Hmm.
art card, right, for the whole
Hmm.
game, and it
Yep.
really set a great precedent going forward. Um, there's just a bunch of good majestics in it as well, right? There's um,
Well, Dread Triptych's finally
Drip
good
Trick
with
Trick Trick.
Florian, so I'm happy about that. I bought first edition rainbow foils of those a long ass time ago for too much.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on names. It's been so long since I've been able to like. Though I think I just opened a case of Crucible. Oh no, not case. I just opened a box of Crucible.
I just think of all the like legendaries, like Rune Blood Barrier, Dread Triptych is still. I mean, I love Dread Triptych, but I know that card is not that great unless you're Florian. And then what do we got? I should just pull it up in Fabrary here.
Yeah, well, maybe that's the difference because I think when I'm looking at opening a set, if excitement for opening a box, I'm not looking forward to it. I mean, you're gonna get one legendary a case generally, unless you're me opening Rosetta this week and you get three. Nice, but normally it's one, and not even always a guaranteed one. And I'm almost more excited about the Majestics, like most of the time. And I think that Crucible, actually, I don't know now. I would say at least
There's so many
historically.
bad Majestics though, dude.
Yeah, but I think
I just pulled it up. Like, Mangle, nobody plays. Righteous Cleansing, Stamp Authority, Find Center, Flood of Force,
but they
Heron's
did
Flight.
like Mangle and Stamp both had their time in the sun, right? Like there
A
was a while.
long time ago. But
Is Mangle really that bad now? Because I remember you
I
messaging me about both of those cards at one point. You're like, "Oh, did you pick these up? Did you pick these up?" And I was like, "No, they were too. They never dropped to
well,
the
I'm
price point where I was picking up a bunch of
well,
them."
so that was, but that's the funny thing with Flesh and Blood, is that, you know, the Majestics, if you get them under $1, and then whenever something's about to come out, people will get hyped and like pre-buy stuff and start to spike the price, even if something doesn't ever actually come from it. So it could have been one of those. But yeah, there's not. I mean, there is great cards in here, but like, some of the strongest one, like Blood Sheath Scalata, that's banned, although it's great. Uh, I don't know, man. I don't like these cards that much. Beast Within, Massacre, it's a great set for Brute. Beast Within, Massacre, both cool. Uh, eh, yeah. All right. So what do you think it is? It's not if you don't think
Oh
it's a
my gosh.
shred. What are you calling it?
Well, I was going for riled up on this one. This would have been my first riled up.
Wow, we really are arguing about it. I did not think that.
I
I
didn't
didn't
think
think.
I didn't think it would be every set. I figured there'd be like one or two that we would
Mm.
disagree about. But I just didn't think you'd be this wrong. I don't know. It was
I mean, and
no.
you're the one complaining about the reprints, and you've got your first Tunic reprint about to be in Riled Up.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I
So do
don't
we
know.
need to split the difference to timidity point again? Because as much
I
as you
think
said riled
so.
up, I really do think it's a shred. I mean, listen, even if you're pulling a Shiana, like Shiana wasn't even good
Oh
until
my
like a set
gosh, I
ago.
forgot about how did I miss Shiana? Well, yeah, but she was always a fan. I don't know. I've always wanted like an
Well, she's
OG
nothing
Shiana
but
pull.
getting better every single set. Like every time a new hero comes out, she gets a new specialization that she can latch onto. Like
And
she's not going anywhere. She's gonna LL and Blitz eventually, just out of pure happenstance. Like
and
so, they're gonna put yeah.
well, and what other hero has an entire official play style or play mode based off of them, right? They made the whole shapeshifter like official. Um, oh my gosh, what am I?
Class?
Not just no, not class. Like popper format. There's a whole format
Oh, the
based around
shapeshifter
shapeshifter
format.
format.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. How many heroes have an entire format based off of them? I mean, Arg Smash, great. Actually, Aether Eyes. I sell a bunch of Aether Eyes.
That's funny that
Breeze
that card
Rush.
sells because that card's a straight up meme, or at least it was for the longest time. But I guess if you're Verdance, I mean, man, Verdance really is just like Storm now. They can't help but make Wizards combo decks because it's such a Storm thing to play Ether Eyes to stop Poison the Well to cover your own combo.
Yeah, I'm trying to
It's
make sure
like playing Mental Misstep back in the day.
I'm trying to make sure I'm only looking at like unlimited prices, but they're still like $4 or $5 majestics. Like, yeah, I mean, my
Well,
Aether
see,
Eyes
that's the
is
difference. You know,
right.
you're looking at all just money, and I'm also intangibles because I like the way like I feel like 9 times out of 10 you're not gonna be as happy with your Crucible box opening as you would be an Arcane Rising box opening. Like if you open
Oh,
10 of each, I think that you would be happy more times out of 10.
actually, Gambler's Glove, I think, had some of the coolest art because there was like little. I don't know if you remember, like Gambler's Glove,
The Gambler's Glove mat, you can
Matt.
really see it.
Yeah, but there was like little things that they added in the background. I think that was the first time that I was like, oh, I've got to pay attention to the art on these cards because like you see him like cheating.
Yeah,
And it's like,
he's
yeah,
got the loaded dice in his sleeve and
yeah.
in his hand, like he's got both hands.
But I mean, I would also argue that I'm looking at value, but Flesh and Blood isn't a game that doesn't put value into garbage cards, right? If there's money, if these cards are selling for a decent amount, then they're being used. There's like a demand for it because no matter how rare a card is, I mean, I don't know. That's why I was upset about promos. There's promos with very low print runs that are still like under $1. I'm just like, you guys crazy? Like, scarcity should matter more than it does, I think, personally. But in reality, good cards, are where all the money is. And there's a lot of majestics in this that are over $5, which you can't say for even most modern sets.
Mm. Well, you know what? Let's go
Well,
life of the
yeah.
party.
Well,
I'll give you life for the
well,
party because of
I
Shiana.
was gonna say, oh yeah, Shiana's gorgeous. Yeah. Oh, I forgot how cool the Beast Within art is. Actually, Rattle Bones. I remember getting my first Rattle Bones. Those are cool. But yeah, honestly, yeah, Gambler's Glove. Gambler's Glove used to be like such a big deal. Not anymore, but it used to be.
Well, it, back when there was only 8 classes and you could play
Right.
brute and yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, if
Mm,
you're happy with the life of the Mar- Okay. Now,
here's the first bastard child that we might agree on. This guy's a shred.
really,
Yeah.
I
I
would
love
say
I love Monarch. I love Chain. Opening this box is a shred.
see.
Unless you're drafting it. If you want to
I
have fun drafting, it's fine. But I'm also, this is probably one of the boxes I've opened the most of.
oh,
I've opened a
let me just set
lot
it
of
down.
Monarch.
I don't want to hold it, but I have opened a lot of Monarch as well. I was gonna say Dumpster Dive, with right like. I mean, I still think there's fun cards to find in it. Still, even if they even at worth nothing. So this is where I go Dumpster Dive over Shred, where it's still a very cheap set to open, and I can still find enjoyment from pulling cards. There's still cards that I like in Monarch. Um,
It's just so hard when half the heroes are banned
well, yeah, I mean,
as
half the heroes
well.
are banned, but I mean, Dust to Dawn breathe some life into them. But there's just some gorgeous cards. Like I really liked, like the Blasphemet. I think that was, I mean, that was the first set, right, where there was like forms, right? Like,
Yeah,
and
but that was the
allies
first set with
and
talents, and it was the
talents.
first
Yeah,
set with allies.
I think there's just a lot of really cool cards with great art. Maybe not as much replayability anymore, but I don't feel bad opening a box of Monarch. Like there's still cool cards. And now granted, I'm not paying more than $40 or $50 for a box of Monarch. There's no way you'd get me to pay more than $50 for a box of Monarch, but I wouldn't feel bad opening it. And like I said, I mean, I bought that box for $37, and I'm just gonna open that for fun because I really don't think I'm gonna get the value, but I still think it's gonna be fun. I don't know. I would say Dumpster Dive. I still enjoy the cards. I think there's a lot of cool mechanics in the set. I still like to see them. I don't know. Like, well, and that's also where we differ because on top, and my priority, like getting my value is like here, but seeing cool shiny cards is like here. I like.
Well, another
Like
thing that Monarch did differently is that the first edition of what's that one blood spell that's like it wasn't and I know it was a common. It was
see, tetherings from Crucible. Tethering is coming up. Oh no, Aetherize. Aetherize, yeah. Aetherize is coming up. That's where I think I've been seeing, like, my Aetherize is sold so fast. Oh my gosh, you made that comment 10 minutes ago. I'm sorry. But I'm just looking at chat now. Yeah, the
blood tribute in
Blood
first
Tribute, yeah.
edition. The image that you see on Fabrary is the first edition Monarch blood tribute, and it's like it looks like a woman, ripping her own eyes out and bleeding everywhere. And the unlimited version is like I don't know, like some kind of witch hunter or something looking guy.
I'm trying to think what card I'm thinking. I don't know if it's Eclipse. There's a lot of very highly detailed art that's just metal as all hell.
Eclipse, I have the Eclipse mat from the pre-release, and